What's going on, everyone? And
Come back to Double M Live, episode 94. Let's go. 94. We're
Wow.
back.
94 episodes. 94 episodes of Double M, 94 episodes of great conversation, 94 episodes of a couple guests coming through to bless us. We've been rolling, man. 94 episodes and we still rolling. Foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, man. And we're not the only ones who are back. Basketball's back. The NBA is back for the 75th year. I've been a part of 20 plus of them. I've enjoyed every single one of the NBA, and it's coming back to celebrate number 75. They're gonna have the I don't know when they're gonna announce it. I haven't been keeping up, but they're gonna announce the top 75 greatest basketball players. And that's just right there is gonna cause a lot of debates, a lot of talk. Who got snubbed? Who deserves to be there? Does anyone from the top 50 get taken out? Which I hope they don't do. I heard that they're just gonna start all over and do 75 players, but I wish they kept the top 50 and just added 25 more players instead of just doing it all over again.
Yeah, I mean that top 50 list came out in the mid 90s, I believe.
Yeah.
And I mean, great list that came out, but eventually there was gonna come a point in time where they were going to add on or redo or something. That top 50 list, as great as it is, was going to see some kind of change eventually. It's just a matter of when. So,
yeah, I just like the lore of this having those top 50 players be those top 50. And now if you want to add 25 more players to it, obviously you need to add more, then add 25. But damn, imagine you one of the top 50 greatest players and they say, yeah, cool. You're no longer part of this exclusive list.
I mean, maybe they should have did NBA should have something kind of similar to, I believe it's the NFL who does like top players of
Decades.
that decade,
Right.
top players of the decade. So I feel like NBA, if anything, should have did something like that, because now you're talking about a situation like you just said. Are there players that were on that top 50 list that get bumped out because now you got to add in a Durant. Now you got to add in a Curry. Now you got to add in a Kobe. Now you got to add in a LeBron. Now you got to add in a Kevin Garnett. Now there's a lot of guys I could go on and on.
A lot of players need to get in this list from 90s to from the last 20 years, 25 years. Come on.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do it. And again, if there's one thing that is gonna create is a lot of conversation, a lot of debate, wherever around the water cooler and barbershops, wherever there's basketball being talked about, once the list drops of who's the top 75 greatest players of all time, it's going to spark a lot of different types of conversations. So it's one thing to keep the people talking about basketball in the NBA. So NBA kind of smart. They're kind of smart with that.
Oh, it's genius. I kind of want to hear your thoughts though. Who's a lock in the last 25 years? Who are 10 no matter what they're officially in?
Who's 10 players that need to, just from the last 25 years or just overall?
Yeah, that's 25 years that are a lock.
Michael Jordan.
No, that played in the last 25. Michael Jordan was already part of the top 50.
That needs to be on there for the last. Okay.
Yeah.
Steph Curry.
Okay.
LeBron James. Kevin Durant. Kevin Garnett. Kobe Bryant.
Tim Duncan.
Dirk Nowitzki. Allen Iverson. Dwayne Wade's going to make it on there.
Is he a lock? He's a lock.
He's a lock. If Iverson's on there, Dwayne Wade's on there.
He's a lock.
So
is Iverson a lock?
If you had to toss up between Dwayne Wade and Iverson as one of the top.
Here's a scenario. Westbrook or Iverson? Westbrook gets the nod.
Mind
you, Iverson is my favorite
because of stats.
Iverson's my favorite player. Westbrook would get the nod over Iverson, right?
Because
And I don't know if Westbrook's a lock.
yeah,
Westbrook probably is a lock, but I'm not. If we go down the list,
is Harden a lock?
yeah,
I'd be more confident saying
Yeah.
Harden over Westbrook.
yeah, Harden over Westbrook and Iverson.
Okay.
What about who's the guy I was just thinking of? Oh, just slipped my mind. Giannis.
Giannis is making the list.
Giannis already in year 7 making the list?
And I think he'd the list just because of pure potential. Like he's done so much, but still has so much more to do, and everybody knows that.
That's what they did for Shaq, right? Shaq was only like 4 years into the league when they did it, and he was
just because he was so dominant, and they knew,
Yeah.
okay, this guy's gonna be
no championships,
Yeah.
no nothing. They put Shaq in there already.
Yeah, so Giannis has got that Shaq effect where he's a lock just off of people know he's going to be dominant for years to come.
Wow, Ray Allen,
he's also on the bubble. That's why I didn't even mention Pierce. Pierce, my guy.
Pierce, I think Pierce makes it as like 74, 75.
He's in that bottom tier of guys who might make it.
I think Pierce makes it. Pierce.
Oh, you got muted. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. Pierce is I think as Boston fans, as people who watch Pierce for his whole career, he should be.
Pierce gets there over Ray Allen. Does Pierce get there over Carmelo?
Pierce get there over Carmelo? Does Pierce get there over Tracy McGrady?
Yes. Yes. He gets it over Tracy.
I think Pierce.
I don't think Tracy even makes the top 75. That's kind of crazy to talk about.
Yeah. I think Pierce gets it over Melo just because of playoff performance.
Okay, so what about Dwight Howard? Is he a top 75 player of all time?
Yes.
We know he's a surefire Hall of Famer, but will he be considered top 75? We're talking about the likes of Tim Duncan that's going in, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Garnett.
And all three of those guys I want over Dwight Howard. So Ustream don't like you. I don't know what's going on here, man.
Those are all locks.
Yeah. Sheesh, Dwight Howard's. I don't know. There's definitely guys on the bubble for sure.
Does Dwight Howard make it over Iverson?
Yes.
The more we
yes, he does. Yes, he does.
The more we talk about this, the more Iverson drops.
Yeah. Dwight Howard makes it over Allen Iverson. You're talking about he's a champion. He's like a 3-time defensive player of the year. He's led the league in blocks a couple years, led the leagues in rebound a couple years, multiple-time All-Star. Yeah, he's making it over Iverson.
Does Iverson make it over Ray Allen? Iverson was better.
I don't know. I'm thinking of guys who I'm giving it to Ray over Iverson, unfortunately.
So, and I would too.
Iverson, and I'm not knocking Allen Iverson at all. Iverson's a great NBA player, but obviously, because of his size, the fact that he had the ability to score the ball the way he did makes him even more impressive. But in actuality, like if Iverson was 6'6",
oh my God, he's the greatest.
He's a great player. Like you'd hold him in regards of Kobe and Jordan or
and
something.
People already hold him in those regards.
But so then why are we knocking him so low in terms of these guys?
The accolades.
So the accolades was because he has an MVP. He has a couple scoring titles, I believe, and a lot of All-Star appearances. A couple probably All NBA appearances.
Iverson makes it. I think you just have to, off of what you just said, is next to Isaiah, Chris Paul. Like these are the greatest little men to ever play the game.
It's Chris Paul a lot. Yes, Chris Paul's. Let me not even question that. Chris Paul to me is one of the greatest point guards who ever played the game, and he also has the accolades other than the championship.
Chris Paul's a lock, but Chris Paul's in. He's not a lock.
I don't know. We keep losing Marv here. Ustream doesn't want to let Marv.
You can't hear me still?
You're back now. You're back.
I'm gonna do this without the mic. Without the mic, hopefully the audio's still okay. But StreamYard, Mike keeps calling it Ustream. Maybe that's why they keep chopping us.
StreamYard, Ustream.
I think Chris Paul is in, but I don't think he's a lock.
I think Chris Paul's a lock. That's just me personally. Maybe I just biased because I'm a huge Chris Paul fan, but I think Chris Paul's a lock.
Tony Parker.
Woo, yes.
That's the name we forgot there, Tony Parker.
Stats nothing crazy, but I think some of these guys, you look at what they've done in the playoffs in terms of championship. Tony Parker has what, 4 championships? 5? 4? 4 championships. One of those a finals MVP. He's been a multiple time All-Star. You can have a debate about a lot of different guys. Who are locks, who are on the bubble, who you're on the fence about. You could throw a lot of names out there.
So Giannis is the youngest one that makes the list?
Yes. Giannis for sure is a lock. He's young and it's the same thing like Shaq. Whatever the idea was to put Shaq on the top 50 in 1994 when he's only in the league for like 5 years is the same situation with Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, I think Kawhi Leonard. He's a lock.
Why?
Kawhi's a lock.
Why is he a lock?
2 championship rings, Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time Finals MVP.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. He just did it in such a short period of time. It feels
so quick. He did it so quick.
Guy did that in the span of like 5 years. Yeah, Kawhi's in there. Wow.
We had a lot of good players. Like I don't think Vince Carter makes it. Steve Nash. I don't know. Whew. If you say CP's a lock, then you have to put Steve Nash over CP, right? Two-time MVP.
Sheesh.
No one is getting snubbed. I think we mentioned over 25 players by now.
Yeah. Like I said, there's guys who are locks, guys who are snubs, guys you're on the fence about.
That's why I don't think CP is a lock. I think he should make it. I preface he should. I'd put Iverson over CP.
I would not. But this is what great debate's about. Debates.
You wouldn't put CP. You wouldn't put Iverson over CP.
I'm biased. I really think
take your bias away.
I'd argue that Chris Paul. I would argue that Chris Paul quite possibly is the greatest point guard I've ever seen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bias is real heavy.
Well, not great. He's easily top 5 greatest point guards ever in NBA history.
Possibly.
Let me not say top 5. I've got a guy named Magic Johnson play basketball.
CP's good. I know you're a big fan of CP, but
Sam, I corrected myself. Sam. I was caught up in the quick moment of thinking about because why I said that so quickly is because I lived and watched CP play.
Yes, CP hasn't been able to do it in the big moments.
That's something that doesn't bode well for CP, for sure. But overall body of work, top 5 greatest point guards ever.
In your opinion? Well, I need to fact check that, and then I'll get back to you if I agree with you or not.
Sure, I know. Yeah,
Magic, Curry, Isaiah,
That's 3.
Oscar. Do I want to put Steve Nash over CP?
No. Chris Paul can score like Nash in their prime. He can score like Nash. He can assist the ball like Nash. And in his prime, Nash was nowhere close to the defender CP was. You forgot CP's like top 10 all time in steals.
I'm thinking, bro. Let me think.
Oh, take your time. Take your time.
I might put Nash over CP. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't take away the mistakes CP has done in the postseason.
Think about. I hear that. Just think about the player, what he brings to the game in his prime.
CP is amazing. CP is amazing.
But you put Steve Nash over Chris Paul?
I think I would.
I don't know that.
I think I would.
Nah.
I think I'm okay with that.
Who's a better scorer?
You know, Steve Nash is top 5.
You don't know Steve Nash is top 5 point guard, but you would put Steve Nash over CP3?
Yeah, man. This is just me thinking out loud right now.
Nah, not a chance.
This is just me thinking out loud.
In terms of scoring the basketball in their prime, CP and Chris Paul, I can't. Assisting the ball in like they're there. Now playing defense, Chris Paul and Steve Nash. Come on now.
Then you gotta, It's tough. Because I never watched Bob Cousy.
I mean, and that's something that a guy like Michael Jordan, who never will take his own claim and say, well, yeah, I'm the greatest player of all time. That's his argument always. He'll always be like, look, y'all keep calling me the greatest of all time, but like there's greats from different eras that, don't get the amount of respect that I'm getting. So you're right. I've never seen Bob Cousy play.
Cousy, Jerry West. I mean, those are 2 dudes who have better careers than Chris Paul.
Yeah, one probably obviously more championships and whatnot.
John Stockton, I have. Sam put Jerry West there as well. John Stockton, I have CP over John Stockton. And John Stockton, one thing about John Stockton, people forget is he was a great defender as well. John Stockton and CP are very similar players.
I'm telling you,
similar players.
The all-time steals list goes like Stockton, Jordan, Chris Paul.
Yeah, man, I get it. I don't think CP is top 5. Now that I'm really thinking, I don't think he's top 5. Has CP won this chip? Top 5.
Okay, so now we're going on. We're going off championships, or just who the player is.
I mean, the top 5 the top 5 players I named all got rings.
They are great players who were able to win the championship. I get it.
Magic, Curry, Isaiah Thomas, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West.
Nash doesn't have a ring, right?
No,
he does not.
He does.
I
put Steve Nash over.
Nah.
And that's debatable. That's debatable. I understand if you want to argue that one. We can definitely have a whole podcast on Steve Nash versus Chris Paul. And if I would lose that debate, I wouldn't be mad at it because you could definitely make your argument.
Okay. Yeah, the debates are endless. Stockton, as great as a sister he was, I wouldn't put Stockton over Nash or CP.
I think Stockton would have had a bet, and that's crazy to think because Stockton was nasty in his era. But I think Stockton would have had a better career in this era compared to when he was teamed up with Karl Malone.
And he played in
his style of play.
Yeah, I think his style of play could have translated in today's game.
Westbrook's up there too. Westbrook's top 10. Has to be.
Let's talk about Jason Kidd.
Westbrook's over Jason Kidd. Steve Nash is over Jason Kidd.
I don't even know.
Let me chill.
Steve Nash over Jason Kidd?
Hold on. I'm bugging. I'm bugging out. I apologize. I'm thinking Dallas Mavericks, Jason Kidd in my head.
Oh, you forgot New Jersey. That's Jason Kidd.
No. That's on me, guys.
That's on me. That's what I'm saying. You're not thinking of like these guys. You're thinking of Chris Paul made his mistakes with Houston. Like, yo, think of Chris Paul in his prime back in New Orleans.
Yeah, I did. But I did think about that. When I'm thinking of Chris Paul, I'm thinking Clippers Chris Paul at his prime.
That too.
At his prime. That's what I'm thinking about. But yeah, Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was one of the best point guards I ever seen play. Jason Kidd really taught me the game. Just like when watching him play when he was on the Nets facing the Celtics, he made me understand the role of a point guard. And I saw him beat the Celtics without scoring more than 10 points. And I'm like, yo, how is this guy doing that? How is he just knowing where to put his players, learn how to assist? And that's what made me appreciate Rondo once he was on the team. I'm like, oh, this is very Jason Kidd.
Floor general.
Yeah, Jason Kidd really opened my eyes to the game of basketball and how to be a point guard.
There's some guys on this point guard list or the point guard that are floor generals, and there's some guys who just happen to play the position.
Right. And they can still Curry's not a traditional. Curry's a shooting guard in a point guard body.
Curry's not a floor general.
And he's the number 2 point guard.
Because he plays the position and he's won championships and he's the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah. That'll do it.
That'll do it for you. But Jerry West, to my knowledge, floor general. I'm looking at some of the names.
West was a scorer. I don't think people would put Jerry West as a floor general. Cousy.
I'm thinking Jerry West was a combination of both. Cousy was a combination of both. Like Stockton, I think he was more floor general than scorer. Chris Paul, combination of both. Curry, more of a scorer than a floor general. Isaiah Thomas, more. Floor general, yeah, floor general. Well, I would say he's a combination.
Score.
You say he's more of a scorer than floor general?
Isaiah Thomas played in this league. He's scoring 26 points a game.
But he also averaged.
You can average. Yo, what are you calling Westbrook a floor general?
Westbrook's not a floor general.
Okay, but he averages the most assists in the league.
But I'm saying I'm thinking of Isaiah's career.
You can still assist and not be a floor general.
But Chris Paul, who in his prime was averaging a lot of points as well, I have him and Isaiah kind of in the same type of.
Isaiah had a more scoring mentality than Chris Paul.
I see both of them more of a combo between floor general score.
Chris Paul's a floor general. Chris Paul can score, but he's a floor general. Isaiah Thomas scored. Obviously, as the point guard position, especially in the 90s, you just didn't have the opportunity for a point guard to score as much, and you had to dish the ball.
I see a little combo there, but they had the ability to do both. Like
they can do both, but I would label Chris Paul floor general. And
I would too. I would absolutely label Chris Paul floor general. Guys who
Chris Paul's number 1 goal on the court is to get his team involved.
And that's the great debate when you talk about point guard positions, because like a guy specifically that people will argue, Steph Curry, yes, he's a point guard, but he doesn't play like a point guard, but he plays the position.
Right.
That's always my interesting when I give people who I think is a great point guard, like people like, yo, Derrick Rose, nasty point guard, Westbrook, nasty. I'm like, yeah, they play the point guard position. Steph Curry play a point guard position, but when I think point guard, I automatically think floor general, which is why a lot of people won't do it. But I really think I put Rondo in like top 10 point guard of all time.
Never.
Because we view it differently. Maybe I think I view it differently than some people. Yeah, that's just me personally. If I had my own personal list.
You have Rondo as a top 10 point guard guy?
Because I know his floor general ability. Because when I think point guard, I immediately go, I don't necessarily jump to think score.
Yeah, with combination of everything.
When I'm saying me personally, when I immediately think point guard, I say I'm thinking floor general.
So so if it was your opinion, where do you rank Curry?
As being like a floor general?
In your top 10 point guard list, where you ranking Curry? If you go by floor general.
Curry's top 5. Where in that 5? I don't know. Like I said, to me, Chris Paul is number 1.
Shooting has a hell of a thing to do with it if Curry makes the top 5, because he ain't no good floor general.
I would have Chris Paul number 1 for me. Now, and in my list.
And then if you're doing floor generals, John Stockton's got to be number 1.
No. Me personally, I have Chris Paul.
You just said personally the best has to be the floor general. The best floor general NBA was John Stockton.
I like Chris Paul.
What do you mean, John Stockton was the best.
I like Chris Paul.
Yeah, you like him. But if we're going by Mike's rules, John Stockton has to be number 1.
We're going by Mike's rules. I say Chris Paul.
Mike's rule kind of shaky.
I say Chris Paul. John Stockton up there too. And then I think guys like Jason Kidd. I think guys like Nash. I think guys like Rondo. But then me, I'm somewhat also being a prisoner of the moment because I sometimes will forget about guys of the past who did a hell of a job at the position. But
you can't think about Rondo. Once he left the Celtics,
that's his fault.
It imploded.
Yeah. The thing with Rondo that will hurt him is because
he had a lot of lost years. Like, we forget he played for the Kings,
Dallas,
the Bulls, Dallas, New Orleans, where he finally had a little resurgence over there.
Yeah, once he left the Celtics, it was really a roller coaster ride. From the moment he tore his ACL, it was a roller coaster. Young Mike at the time was convinced Rondo would return from his ACL injury, and him and Jeff Green would lead the Celtics into the future.
I remember that we were doing Double M Sports at the time.
My God, Rondo, Jeff Green, Sullinger, that's the future.
I remember. Oh, you were hell bent on keeping Rondo and Jeff Green.
I was like, yo, you must build around Rondo at all costs. Because my argument was, damn, the way that guy moves the ball and gets everybody involved, you can put the right players around them, Celtics will be fine.
The league started to change, though. The league was going a different direction.
Yeah, it was starting to really get like, scoring point guards were really taking over, and being a point guard and be able to score the ball and assist. The Chris Pauls, the Derrick Roses, the Currys, the Westbrooks, the Deron Williams.
Yeah, Williams. You put Tony Parker. He was averaging 15 to 18 points a game, but they were effective.
Like, Rondo's a great floor general, but the fact that he wasn't scoring like that,
wasn't a threat.
Then he tore his ACL and then he left the Celtics on kind of weird terms. It was just a lot. But wow,
we wasn't expected to have this type of podcast.
But that's the beautiful thing of basketball and sports, and the debates that can happen just off of sports, and in this case, basketball.
And since we're talking basketball, I know we gotta get to other topics, but this guy is so interesting to me and where he lays in history. I gotta get your opinion. We mentioned him briefly. We're not talking point guards no more, but Carmelo Anthony. I don't know where his place in history is gonna be. Obviously, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer, and we're gonna remember him for his scoring, and he was a very popular player in our league. But where's he gonna place? In like the top 10 top 15 small forwards. He was the best in his position at the time, or second best because there was LeBron James.
Is he a top 10 small forward of all time?
LeBron, Bird, Durant. Pippen, Bernard King. Thinking here.
Alex English.
Alex English.
Was George Gervin a small forward?
George Gervin was a shooting guard?
You know, sometimes they go back and forth with that position.
Paul Pierce, like, do you put Paul Pierce and Carmelo? That's where the line is, right?
Carmelo better scorer, Pierce a better overall player.
How was Pierce a better overall player?
Pierce is a better defender than Melo, I believe. I think Pierce found ways to affect the game in other ways more than Melo. Like when I think Melo, I automatically think score. Paul Pierce, I think yes, he could score, but he was also capable of doing other things.
I don't think Melo's top 10. I agree with you with Pierce.
Then is Pierce not top 10, or is you saying Pierce get over Melo?
Pierce is top 10. You got Kawhi Leonard, John Havlicek, like the all-time score. Like, I don't think Melo's top 10.
And not a damn thing he could do about it.
Oh, it's over. It's over.
There's nothing Melo can do about it from this point on. I mean,
once you come off the bench and you're a role player, there's nothing you can do to boost your ratings.
Yeah, that's it for Melo.
Melo might be on the Dominic Wilkins line, like.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I definitely think Melo's better than Dominique Wilkins. But Melo, that's disrespectful. Melo's better than Dominique Wilkins.
But he's in that threshold. Like, could Paul George have a better career than Carmelo Anthony?
Paul George still has time to be, yes. Paul George still has time in his career where when it's all said and done, you could call him better than Carmelo.
If Paul George goes nuts in these next 2-3 years,
from the moment because how long did he spend in OKC?
Carmelo's a better talent than Paul George. Carmelo came in as a gunner.
Yeah. How long was Paul George in OKC? 1 year, right?
Paul George was in OKC for 1 year.
And he went stupid that year.
Won MVP. It was 2 years, sorry. He was there for 2 years. 1 year with Carmelo, and then the second year when Carmelo wasn't there, he was the MVP candidate.
But once he got to OKC, he was pretty good. He was balling, right? Well, he didn't do much that first year.
The first year, it was the Carmelo year. It was a weird year.
Okay.
It was the second year where he was balling and he had that MVP.
And then since he got to the Clippers, other than playoffs, he's been balling too.
Yeah, other than the playoffs.
If Paul George can play like he did that from that second year OKC and first year Clippers for the next, he got to do that for like 4 more years, and to get a chip. If he has to get a chip.
Yeah, he has to get a chip.
If Paul George can
Carmelo,
he'll be better than Carmelo. If he balls like he has no chip, he ain't better than Carmelo. He damn near the same thing.
But he has that defensive aspect that Melo doesn't.
That is true. Melo has never been known for a big time defender.
Paul George has been.
But
Melo over Tracy McGrady?
Overall player, Tracy McGrady's better.
So it's tough to. And Carmelo cannot be a top 10 small forward.
Yeah. Overall, like, unfortunately, his career. Well, I'm not even gonna say this dude's name because his career was cut super short.
Oh,
If Grant Hill never got hurt,
well, top 10.
if Grant Hill never got injured,
that was LeBron before LeBron, bro.
like Grant Hill, Tracy McGrady, if there's no injuries there.
What position are we putting Giannis?
Giannis is a small forward to me. I mean, you could pretty much put him anywhere, but to me, he's a small forward. I think this year, or at least from first game of the season, they got him at power forward. But I feel like
I can't look at Giannis as a small forward. I can't look at Giannis as a 3.
Of course not. Nobody can. But he plays like a 3.
Does he?
He's not. He doesn't play like a center.
Yes, he does.
He does too much. A lot of the way he handles the ball. Nah, I view Giannis as a 3.
Giannis is tough to position.
Yeah, very. He can easily. They've tried him at every position. He can play any position.
I think when it's all said and done, we might look at him as a 4.
Well, up until this point in career, has he played a lot of 3 or 4? I'm trying to think. Last year,
dude's huge now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Giannis is just a freak of nature. Like, he can literally be anywhere. But he's top 10.
KD or Larry Bird?
KD. And that's literally because I believe Durant, if he's not there yet, he will be the greatest scorer in NBA history.
He already is, but
and it's great. And the thing, it's crazy because you can argue Larry Bird is a better all-around player, but at the same time, I think you could put KD in Larry Bird's era. He'd be fine.
KD can play with. KD's one of those players that could play with anyone, any era. It doesn't matter what system your team is. KD fits. Like, you would have never thought KD could. He fits seamlessly with the Golden State Warriors.
Like he's been there forever.
Oh, you want me to be the catch and shoot, do a little bit? Well, he can play in any type of system, anyhow. Is just that's what he is.
And and unfortunately, Larry Bird could not.
I don't know because I can't.
I don't think Larry Bird would be Larry Bird in this era.
What do you mean? You don't think Larry Bird would be?
I'm not saying he suck, but could Larry Bird's style of play be put in today's NBA?
I think so.
I don't know. I think you could take KD and how he plays and put it back in the 80s. He'd be fine.
I mean, think about Bird in this era with how they shoot threes.
I think he'd be shooting the basketball wise. Larry Bird would be fine. Yes.
And but Bird you already said you think he's a better all-around player. Bird had the vision.
He did.
Intellect. I think Bird would be fine in this era.
But I'm just thinking of this with the speed of the game.
He'd have to adapt to the speed. I mean, look at Luka. Luka's a very slow pace player.
He'd have to adapt. I mean, that's just that's what it'd be.
I think slows the game down. There's some players who just slow the game down.
I think it'd be more easy for KD to go into any era than Bird to jump to this era if they had to swap places. I don't know. But I think overall, just because KD, I'm still on the fence. You're saying he's the greatest scorer of all time. I think that's what tips Durant over the edge for Larry Bird for me.
But Larry still makes the top 75, of course. Durant's in there shooing. LeBron, obviously. Yeah, I can't wait. You have any other last thoughts?
On who should be in the top 75? I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was
Clay possibly could have made it, man.
That's what I was just about to think about. Are there guys who have the trajectory to be top 75 that probably won't make it anymore? First name that jumps off to my head is Derrick Rose.
Yeah, he had the trajectory.
To be could be on that list, but he won't get it. I'm trying to think. There's anybody else that
a dominant player that won't get in? Damian Lillard.
Damn.
Dame won't be on it.
Damn.
Kyrie won't be on it.
And I think Kyrie's closer than Damian Lillard.
Yeah, Kyrie's close. Kyrie's close. But he won't be on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Player. I'm trying to think of anyone that we're missing.
No, Derrick Rose definitely shout out to me real quick. Because no ACL injuries. You're talking about Derrick Rose like you're talking about Westbrook.
Yeah, easily. Derrick Rose was special. And unfortunately, we only got 2-3 seasons of specialness from him. Special. Never forget his rookie year in the playoffs against the Celtics. Like, what in the world are we seeing right now?
21 years old.
Bro, this dude is taking it to the Celtics right now.
No fear in that man. Young man. No fear in that young man at the time. But
Chris Bosh.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Damn, not even a consideration. Chris Bosh, Allen Iverson.
Chris Bosh or Allen Iverson? Whew, sorry. Gotta go Bosh.
Whoa. But you were quick to say yes for Iverson.
Well, who was I saying yes to Iverson over?
When we were just talking, when it says Iverson in, you said yes. And I asked you just Chris Bosh.
But then we started bringing up players and comparison. And now we're talking about
I feel you.
Accolades and playoff performance and rings. Like, sorry, Chris Bosh got to get in.
Damn. But I don't even know if he'll make the top 25. Now that makes me worried about Iverson.
Sometimes we don't even know what exactly goes into this choosing, because then if you want to talk about Iverson's impact on the game and how he changed the culture and then that's a whole different.
I think he's an exception. That's what I'm saying. I think Iverson is the one exception.
Yeah, that's a whole another conversation that kind of doesn't have anything to do with basketball, but just Iverson and his popularity and what the attention he brought to the game and to the NBA. Like, he gets in kind of off of that.
I got one. My last one. Reggie Miller.
Yes, he gets in. And I think purely off the fact that he has good accolades for sure. Longevity. Reggie Miller was able to do what he did consistently for a long period of time.
Forever. The fact that you and I have Reggie Miller moments in our heads says enough. This guy played with Jordan in his prime, and we remember Reggie Miller playing against the Celtics in playoffs and such.
Yes. Reggie Miller's longevity is, I think, what put him there, and he's currently probably slimly holding on to second spot all time in terms of 3-pointers. That's probably going to be passed by Curry's going to pass that this year. I think.
Of what?
3-pointers all time.
Curry passed that, right?
Oh, Curry already passed him? Dang.
Curry passed that.
Oh, yeah. Curry's chasing Ray Allen. What am I talking about? I'm sorry. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Reggie Miller, third all time in threes. And just longevity. And with some accolades there, too. Sam saying the most fearless shooter of all time. Yeah, Reggie Miller would pull up with zero hesitation. No worry. Don't care where he is. I mean, Curry kind of does that too now. But I think Reggie Miller is probably the originator of that a little bit. Yeah, fearless shooting, like don't care the situation, the moment. Let me just pull. And he would hit. But yeah, let's move on, man. Damn near 50 minutes on this one topic. We gotta get to some of the biggest news in the NBA right now.
Is it worth asking what's on the playlist, Mike Nice?
I mean, hey, it's NBA talk. It's NBA, opening week, the 2021-2022 season. As we're recording here on a Tuesday night is officially underway. The Brooklyn Nets are taking on the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks. And then the late night game is the Lakers versus the Golden State Warriors. Everybody wants to see how the Warriors are going. How the new look Lakers will step onto the court. Of course, everybody else wants to see what Steph Curry's going to do. NBA's back. But as the NBA is leading up to getting started, I think there's two big pieces of news with the NBA leading up to the start of the season. It's Kyrie Irving situation, and then there's the Ben Simmons situation. Kyrie Irving situation right now is kind of at a halt.
Right.
We know the information. Kyrie's not getting vaccinated at the moment. The Nets told him he can't come be with the team. That's where we're at right now. There's been no kind of update with that situation. Ben Simmons, and I think we talked about this a little bit on the last show, he finally decided to report to the Sixers facility and be with the team. But over the last couple of days, couple of practices that they've had, Ben Simmons has been around, but he's just being an asshole. He's just being annoying. You see video clips of him, the team huddling and having conversation. He doesn't want to put his hand in the team huddle.
There's video of that?
Yeah. They're on the court all talking to each other. Ben Simmons just off to the background, just dribbling the ball to himself. They huddle up and put their fist in. And then he doesn't put his fist in. And as soon as they break the huddle, he just walks off the court and goes to the back.
No.
There's video of it. And then you fast forward to today, I believe. They held practice, and I know you probably heard about today. What I heard exactly from Shams that tweeted it out, Doc Rivers asked Ben Simmons to do some defensive drill. Ben Simmons declined.
I don't feel like it.
Doc Rivers asked him again, we're doing this defensive drill, and we need you to be a part of it. Ben Simmons declined again. Doc Rivers said, take your ass home. And he got suspended for a game, got fined some money. And, oh, and also Sam put this out as well. Dude was practicing with a cell phone in his pocket. The whole team's wearing their practice jerseys or whatever. Ben Simmons got a t-shirt on, says Sixers and some shorts. Everybody else got in their practice stuff. And I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into that because guys wear different stuff to practice. But just the video and just him, guy looks like he just doesn't care at all. He's just there to be there so that he's present. He probably gets his money because he's at the facility. But this situation has just gotten uglier and uglier and worse and worse. And I don't care what anybody says. I know people say, well, the Sixers started it because they threw him under the bus. I don't care. This is Ben Simmons' fault. And regardless of how you feel, the Sixers handle it or Doc Rivers or Embiid, fast forward to what's been going on today in these last couple of days, Ben Simmons is making the situation a lot worse for himself.
What in the world is he trying to accomplish? You can't get traded. You can't get traded like that. You can't get traded like that.
Because who wants you now? You just look like a problem child.
Like, he's what, 23 years old? I know he has some mentors or guardians in his life. My mom would have smacked me across the head if she found out I was acting like that. No matter what the situation is. They threw me under the bus. Yeah, they did.
Get your ass to work.
Eventually, you got to get over it. You got to get over it. Eventually, you have to man up.
And the thing, real quick, the thing you're saying about manning up, like, yeah, people want to say Sixers threw him on the bus, but damn, I give Sixers a credit because at least Embiid and Doc Rivers, at least they tried to mend defenses. They wanted to pull up to man's crib and apologize, and Ben Simmons won't even accept that.
Like, you're sorry, bro. Now how do you overcome something like this? It's pathetic. It's so pathetic. Practicing with your cell phone in your pocket. This is the NBA. This isn't a joke. This is the NBA, and you're on a team where grown-ass men think they can win a championship. Oh, I would have beat his ass. Coach, you don't want to do this drill?
Yo.
The reason we are just known as a fringe contender team is because you haven't been performing up to your standards. If you perform to your standards, people put us as a championship team. You are the reason why we are fringe contenders. Oh, man. No, that's not good. I know Embiid had said something. I read some comments where he was just talking about, we can't babysit dude or whatever. He said something along those lines, and they're all fed up. They have to be fed up. He can't come back to that locker room. Bro, he might get beat up.
Fed up. But I think Embiid says something along the lines of he doesn't care about that man and what he's doing. And I mean, you're talking about guys who pissed off that, that believe they can win a championship, and Ben Simmons over here refusing to do drills. You got guys battling for a contract,
bro,
for a chance to be on a team.
That's why Ben have to let him go.
Ben Simmons over here, I don't want to do this defensive drill. Like, who the hell do you think you are? I know that it's after that, Sixers don't come back. But I mean, I know they can't do that because he's on the contract, so he has the ability to show up if he wants. But like that ass, if I'm Sixers, if I'm Embiid and he walking out of, I'm like, yo, bro, don't come back here. Don't come back.
One game might have been too short.
No, hell yeah, the one game suspension, that to me was whack.
One game might have been too short.
Suspend that dude without pay because he's refusing to participate in practice. Yo, the team can do that. Suspend him without pay. What's the most Ben Simmons can do? Go to the NBA Players Union and try to get his suspension cut down or whatever. Like, what can he do?
I mean, I'm pretty sure when you get suspended for a game, you're not getting paid for that game.
No, but it should have been more than one game, like you said.
That's how you hurt their pockets. This is, this goes back to when we had this first conversation. The Sixers are, I don't want to say the word, but they're effed.
Screwed. They're screwed.
There's the word. There's the word I'm looking for. Screwed.
The appropriate word. Yeah.
I couldn't find the PG version. The Sixers are screwed.
Yeah.
They can't win with Seth Curry as their point guard.
No.
And they're not going to get anything. You think Portland Trailblazers are looking at this situation like, okay, we could let go of Dame or CJ because of this situation. Right, and cool. I can't say that one either, but a PH. Like, damn.
And like I said, it's Ben Simmons' fault. Because even if there was a chance, a team would have been like, okay, maybe we can take Ben Simmons off their hands and give him something. Now that you come back to the team and you're just looking like an asshole, a guy who you're a little upset, so you're not invested, you're leaving practice, you're practicing with your pocket in here, you don't want to be involved in team huddles. You look terrible to other teams who may be interested. How's the guy that want to get traded so bad making it look so bad for himself?
Are you dummy?
Like at this point, and I tweeted this out earlier, get out the league. Get out the league. because I said this on a few shows ago. I've said in conversations. Now you're just looking to me like you really don't care about playing basketball. You want a team that has a chance to be a championship contender. You don't care. You want to get traded so bad, but now you're making yourself look like a terrible guy that no team wants you. What the hell do you want, Ben Simmons?
He's entitled. He's an entitled dude. He thinks he has the world in his hand. I'm telling you, someone in that locker room got to smack him across the head. Like this is not your league. Who the hell are you? The league will move on without you. I promise you, if Ben Simmons is gone, no one's shedding a tear.
If Ben Simmons out the league,
Ben Simmons is a talented player. If he were to leave tomorrow, no one would bat an eye off of his actions.
No. Not at all. Not at all. And by all means, it looked like that's what he's asking for. Because again, what are the options? What are your options here? You can hopefully get traded, or you could try to work it out with your team that has a. It's one thing if Philly sucked,
bro.
It's one thing if Philly sucked, and you just don't want to be around the team suck. You want to get Philly has a chance to be a top team in the East, and you don't. That doesn't excite you enough that you have the ability to possibly make it to the finals. And then you want to get out of there so bad and go somewhere else to start fresh and start clean, but you're walking around like an asshole. And you're being an asshole. Why would anybody want you? Because you think you're that good, Ben Simmons, that you could just get traded and everything's fine? No. People don't forget how you performed in the playoffs, bro.
Where is his agent? Like, where are his OGs? Like, who's talking to this guy?
All that Clutch Sports gang, where they at? Why ain't they helping him out? Rich Paul, where they at?
This is not the way to go about it. We've said it before. We've never seen a situation like this, and it keeps getting worse. I've never seen a situation like this. You can't compare it to James Harden.
No.
James Harden was on a sucky ass team. James Harden is a MVP. Everyone in the league will do whatever they can to get a James Harden on their team. Ben Simmons, you've shown where you've lacked in areas. You've shown the unwillingness to shoot. You want to get traded? Okay, cool. Shoot the damn ball for a couple of months. You get traded before Thanksgiving. Easy.
That's all he had to do, and it doesn't make sense.
You'll get traded before. They don't want you there.
They really don't. And it goes back to what you said. Who the hell is in his corner talking to him? There's no way Ben Simmons can walk out of that practice and he has friends or an agent that can support his actions of getting kicked out of practice. If what I read from that tweet is true, how Doc Rivers asked him to participate in a drill and he refused and got kicked out of practice. You walk in that facility, and obviously the rumors, the source is going to leak or whatever the case may be. Whoever texts your phone, call your phone, email, wherever you go, anybody that gave you any kind of positive remarks off of what you did, I'm questioning them.
Yeah.
I'm questioning the
They
people
don't have
around
your
you.
best interest.
For the people around you, if anybody supported what took place today with him at practice, I'm really questioning them. Because where is that beneficial to Ben Simmons' career?
That's very confusing, bro. Because this was premeditated, right? It had to have been premeditated. You knew you was going into practice and not giving a damn. Your coach, what happened? And your coach is like, yo, we need you to do this drill. And you're just like, yeah, I don't feel like it. Like, how does that happen? And you think that's okay. What thought process is like, oh yeah, if I do this, they're just gonna get rid of me tomorrow. They can't. This is not the NFL. We can just cut you.
Nah. For a guy that wants to be traded so bad, he's not putting himself in a good position.
It's frustrating. I don't know why I'm so frustrated about this, because I'm not a Sixers fan.
Marv.
But it's frustrating.
Marv, I'm pissed. And like I don't care about the Sixers organization. I don't care. Like, I'm not rooting for them. But this situation and Ben Simmons has really pissed me off to some levels I haven't felt in a long time. This type of energy.
I don't know why it's bothering me, but it bothers me.
It's just Because I think I know why. We're such basketball fans and NBA fans. It just feels like Ben Simmons just being disrespectful to the sport that we love.
And it's possibly that.
It's like disrespecting the sport, disrespecting the league, because he feels, like you said, he feels entitled, and he's nobody. He feels entitled, and he's not. He's a nobody in a sense. He hasn't done any major accomplishments to be like, well, it's Ben Simmons. No, you haven't done anything.
Right? It's not like he's Kyrie, who made the biggest shot in the NBA Finals.
No.
Where teams are still looking at Kyrie like, well, he gets vaccinated.
Oh yeah. Kyrie don't have to dribble a ball. But if he asked for a trade and got vaccinated, that Nets phone would be buzzing. I don't know how buzzing the 76ers phone is right now for Ben Simmons, unfortunately. And it sucks for them. Like, in a weird way, I feel bad for the Sixers. I feel bad for Embiid. I feel bad for Doc, Elton Brand, who have to put up with this BS.
They're screwed, bro. They're screwed. Thank you for using that word. I'm gonna say that all the time. They're screwed. It's not looking good for the 76ers at all. And even if Ben plays, we just know that Embiid already said, "Yo, I don't give a damn about this guy. Just give me the ball."
He can't play. He can't play, unfortunately. Like, the way he's at practice, you can't comfortably put him in, just because he's somewhat talented. You can't comfortably put him in the game.
He has to publicly apologize to his team and be sincere about it. That's the only way he plays. So if I'm his agent or whoever's, I'm sitting Ben down and first ration the hell out of him for stupidity and losing both of us money. I'm like, look, I don't care how you feel, what's going on. The next practice, you go over there, you stop whatever's going on, and you apologize to every single person in that building for being a child. Man up to your mistake, say, I'll do better, and just do your job. And everything will play out eventually. But you have to do your job. That's the only way he can play on this court.
Yeah. And even doing that, it's still a bad situation for him, because the Sixers fans, the Philadelphia fans, they're done with him.
It's a bad situation.
If they weren't done with him before, oh my goodness. I know it's bad when fans throw bottles and stuff onto the court. Like, I don't condone that, but like, yo, you got to look out for safety. Because I know for a fact Sixers fans are done with that dude. He can't, like, I don't even know if sitting on the bench is beneficial for him. Even if they don't play him, I don't even know if he should sit at the end of the bench.
Got tools in back of you, mother. Australian freaking guy.
There'll be people who show up to the Sixers game. They don't even care what the game's going on. Let me just get a seat behind the bench, just so I can heckle the hell out of Ben Simmons.
That's what they'll do. And he's not mentally tough.
And again, he brought it on himself. He brought it all on himself.
Look, and what about the trash talking the other opponents are gonna do?
He's gonna get killed.
Oh my God! If I'm someone who trash talks, eating Ben Simmons alive. Imagine Gary Payton guarded Ben Simmons or the situation.
Serving him up, bro. You giving him ammunition to get in your head. That's ammunition. And the stuff they would say to him, the stuff we definitely can't say on this show.
Nah.
Wow. Yeah, Ben Simmons, man. It's to the point now, if he was out the league, I wouldn't care.
Like, you remember like the whole Karl Anthony Towns situation with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler called him soft. He went in there, the practice thing. That viewed how we looked at Karl Anthony Towns. Changed our whole viewing of Cat. And players started really coming at Cat. Cat was one of the dudes like, yo, if you want to build a franchise around, you start with Karl Anthony Towns. The viewing of Karl Anthony Towns switched during that moment. And players started really, thought he was soft. Started coming at him and doing all of these things. Same thing's going to happen with Ben Simmons. The viewing of Ben Simmons has changed. you lost a lot of respect.
Yeah, he lost a lot of respect. Like even if he gets traded, he got a lot of work to do to build a relationship with a new team and a new. I don't care where he got traded. Fans not gonna be happy with the dude.
No, they're not going to be happy with the trade. Like, what fan base right now says,
We'll take him.
I want a Ben Simmons.
Nah.
Maybe prior to this whole mess, they're like, yeah, Ben Simmons didn't work out with the Sixers. We'll take him.
And he's just making it worse for himself in the public eye. In the fans' eyes, he's making it 10 times worse for himself. But still, NBA season getting started.
Exciting.
Very exciting. That's just one of many news. Like I said, Ben Simmons situation, that drama. Kyrie Irving, was still waiting to see how that unfolds. And then, I mean, when you talk about the basketball side of things, is there a real clear-cut favorite to just march all the way to the championship?
Clear-cut favorite?
Like, is this a season where, like, okay, these guys are a lock for the NBA Finals?
A lot of things need to get played out. I don't think the West is as strong. I don't believe in Phoenix. Golden State.
It's another situation we talk about. Phoenix not giving Ayton a contract extension, but continue.
Golden State is the X factor. I think they are the only one who are very, very interested. I know that's the team. Golden State is a very interesting team. I want to see how they play out with, another year with Jordan Poole, Wiseman. Hopefully Klay Thompson comes back in the middle of the year. Interested to see Golden State. Lakers have an easy road, in my opinion, to make it to the finals. Jazz, they'll be the number 1 seed again. Do what the Jazz does. Nuggets don't have Jamal Murray, which hurts.
Huge. That's huge.
It hurts. Portland Trailblazers, aka Team Run It Back, just don't. Got Chauncey Billups. That's not going to add more wins to their column. Like,
if you ask me, they got the same roster from last year.
Right? Because
minus Carmelo.
Because they do. Yeah, more minutes for Norman Powell. That's it. Only difference. Like Portland Trailblazers, Lakers have it. Lakers have the opportunity. We could talk about the Lakers while we're here. This is it for LeBron. I think this is it. This is his last real chance to get number 5. And the Lakers are in a wild situation. They don't win this. It's over for the Lakers franchise. They lost all their young assets. They lost a lot of money, and they'll have nothing but to build around an Anthony Davis. Like, Lakers are done if they mortgage everything for this 1 year to win a championship. All their assets, Lonzo, all those guys are gone. Ingram, everything's gone. Draft picks gone. Money paid. Lakers do not win a championship this year. It was all for nothing. Yes, they got one. The forgotten championship during the COVID year. They got one out of it. But will it be worth it? I mean, I guess it tied the Celtics in championship wins. But they got to get 2 out of this one. They have to get 2. They lost everything. That team is going to sink so fast if they don't get this championship.
You don't think even if they don't get it this year, they can't run it back?
They can't. It's over. Mike, they're too old. This is it. They can't run it back. You got Westbrook on a year. You got LeBron. He's not getting any younger. All of these old dudes you brought on the team, they're all 1-year contracts. You have no youth. No one to develop. You gonna tell me about THT?
Yo, I don't see Anthony Davis finishing his career as a Laker.
No, Mike, I don't think people get it. I think Lakers are going to the finals. But if they do not win, it's over.
If they win, they can run it back.
Huh?
If they win, they'll run it back with the same old squad.
If they win or lose, that's it. They got to get this one. The team can't. It's not built.
Where's Sam at? Sam was in here.
The team is just built to win a championship now. It's not built for a long-term run. They know that. That's why they got rid of everything and put all the money onto getting a Carmelo Anthony or Rajon Rondo, Westbrook. You got to win. They have no youth, no development. The last bit of youth they had is in Washington. Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, I mean, they really threw all their eggs in this basket this season. I personally think it's not going to work because that team is going to implode. I think something about Westbrook and LeBron on the same team just it don't sit right to me. I don't know. Something about it just going some type of decision making, something's going to go left. I don't know. They're old. Like they're very old. Like
they're old.
Will they stay healthy? Like it's a very big question mark because now you got a lot of guys on that team who are now notoriously known for missing time. And out of all like the old guys on the team, Anthony Davis is probably the youngest one, and he notoriously is known for missing a lot of time. All those guys have missed time a lot of time because of injury. And some of them are probably going to get some days where they're just going to rest for load management and whatnot. Like, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Lakers handle their season with a lot of old players. Again, I just think chemistry-wise, something might not click. But yeah, on paper, they look like the ones. They definitely look like the ones on paper.
I think they're gonna be fine. LeBron's one of the greatest leaders. You have a lot of dudes who never won a championship. They're all gonna buy in. You talking about, we just got to sacrifice for 1 year to buy in and really make this work. They're going to be fine. And cool asked about the Clippers, team that's not even on my radar. I mean, Mike, you mentioned it. Paul George is going to have a season like he did with OKC that year when he was an MVP candidate. Kawhi is the biggest mystery. We don't know when dude is coming back.
Never do.
And I mean, Paul George feasts off of being the man. He's a dude who can't be a Robin, it looks like. And when he's Batman, he performs. And Clippers are going to win games. I just don't know. I don't know what they become in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's like people know Clippers will be a playoff team, but
they can't beat the Lakers.
No. I mean, it depends if you get Kawhi Leonard back and what kind of Kawhi Leonard you're getting back. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
I mean, from what it seems, it's like, and especially from reading how he signed his contract with the intention of trying to come back this season. Because I think when he signed his contract, because he signed like a 4-year deal. And Kawhi Leonard is one of these guys that are known for signing 1 year so that they can re-up a 1+1, whatever the contracts are now. But I think when he signed his contract, I read something along the lines of he signed his contract because he knew signing a 1-year deal and being injured for almost the majority of the season would be a lot of question marks on him, his decision. Is he coming back? Is he not? What is he going to do? And that's not beneficial for him, nor is it beneficial for the team. So he signed a 4-year deal so that kind of talk isn't surrounding him or the team, and there's less pressure on him if he's able to come back this season or not. Like, there's not the question of will he leave to go somewhere else the following season. So I don't know. Plus his injury, he wasn't a full tear of his ACL or something like. Well, we don't know. It's Kawhi Leonard. We never freaking know.
That man tore his. He tore that. He tore that.
That's the quiet. I mean, it's weird, but it's the quietest ACL tear, if it was a tear ever. Because players tear the ACL, it's a big thing. It's a big issue. That dude got hurt. He hurt his knee. He's gonna miss the game 3 or whatever it was. Oh, his knee's still sore. He's gonna miss game 4. Oh, his knee's still sore. He's gonna miss game 5.
Oh, I'm looking at the Clippers roster.
It's pretty sorry.
Yeah, cool. Clippers.
Don't make the playoffs.
My God. This is my issue with the Clippers last year and my issue with them this year. 2 names. Ivac Zubac, Serge Ibaka. Those are your big men. Zubac and Serge Ibaka. We didn't even see Ibaka last year. Don't know if he played a minute.
He disappeared in the playoffs. I don't think he played at all.
Where was he during the season? And then you still running with, you talk about old team. Still got Nicholas Batum. Still got you traded for Eric Bledsoe. I don't really like their roster. It's going to be a lot on Paul George's hands. Paul George can carry that team, but think there's a couple pieces away.
Yeah, I mean,
how does Kawhi come back? Does he come back 100% Kawhi Leonard? We know he's only going to play 1 out of 3 games. He was already doing that healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. What kind of Kawhi Leonard do you get back? A team that I don't know if they'll make the jump, but hopefully, well, I don't know if they'll make the jump this year, but because I don't know what their roster necessarily looks like. But Dallas should be a team that should be starting to inch up towards.
Say this every year.
But that's another team, kind of like Dallas. Like, what improvements have they made to the roster? I feel like they're running it back with freaking Tim Hardaway Jr. and Maxi Kleber, or the dude that be on the cookies commercial. What's his name? Kleber. Yeah, Maxi Kleber. Like, I feel like it's the same roster. They ran it back. What improvements did they do to help assist Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis? Who did they add new to that team?
You could just say Luka. We don't know how much Kristaps is gonna stay there.
Kristaps already pissed off. He wanted to be the guy.
I don't know
which in my opinion, Kristaps Porzingis needs to just shut the hell up.
Yeah, you need to be quiet and get the ball when handed to you.
Exactly. Like, what does he think he's gonna go somewhere and become Dirk Nowitzki? Like, what does he think?
Yeah, looking at the Dallas Mavericks roster,
look like another running back type of situation.
Yeah, you need Luka to be the MVP, which obviously is possible.
Very, but in terms of how far their team can go,
I mean, Mavs had the unfortunate chance of facing the Clippers the first round each time. Very unfortunate. And they gave the Clippers a run for the money each time, but Clippers were able to find a way. Had the Mavs faced other teams in the first round, they're making noise. Luka's playoff numbers are crazy in his young career already.
Sure are.
Like, the dude was dropping 40 on the Clippers' head every single night.
Yeah. The Clippers couldn't stop Luka, but they could slow down everybody else. I think that's what it boiled down to for the Mavericks.
That's it.
They couldn't stop Luka, but Maxi Kleber. Freaking Dwight Powell.
Like, the Mavericks' biggest signings are Moses Brown and Reggie Bullock.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Like, yeah, sorry, Mavs. This ain't the year.
It ain't the year. No. They made sure to sign up Luka Doncic for a big contract because this isn't it.
Yeah, and hopefully they continue to try to keep him happy before he starts saying, "Yeah, I want out of there." You better do whatever you can to keep that man happy, Cuban.
When he says, "I need Pop to retire now."
I saw something.
What's Pop to retire?
I think it was Hoop Central, Twitter called Hoop Central, something like that. I don't know if that's the Twitter, but something I saw on Twitter, never know what you should believe, but something said that the Spurs are planning around Pop's retirement within the next 2 to 3 years.
It's time, bro. It's time. Like, I can't see Pop go out like this. He might.
It's the Belichick situation.
he might have the sorriest roster. At least with
Yo.
Belichick has a successor within. Well, he has someone who he can build with Mac Jones.
No lie, after Murray, I couldn't tell you who's on that team.
You got what? Lonnie Walker
and Clendon Johnson.
Keldon, come on, bro.
Keldon
Johnson. He was a gold medalist, bro.
He was only there because Bill didn't make it. If Bill was healthy, didn't get COVID, there would be no Clendon Johnson on the Keldon Johnson on the U.S. team.
You got Derek White, Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker.
Who are their big men?
Poletti.
Jacob Poletti.
And Thaddeus Young's there now too.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of the sorriest rosters, and they might not win 25 games.
No, it's Pop, bro. He'll get something out of them.
What has Pop done?
Jeez. He won a gold medal, bro. He's resurgence.
With the Spurs. When he had DeMar DeRozan, they're done. The Spurs are done. And it's not like Pop can go coach for another team or anything like that. It's time.
But they got to go full tank mode.
Bro, did you not hear the roster I just said?
If they go full tank mode, yeah, Pop got to go. You can't put Pop through that stress, man. He don't need that at his age.
He doesn't need it. It's not. He can't win with this team. Let me look. Brian Forbes and Trey Jones.
Nah.
This is done. Let Becky Hammond take over this team.
Right. The Spurs can be the team to let the first female coach happen.
Yeah.
Let the Spurs break that barrier.
Yeah, let Becky, and it's such a Spurs thing to do with Greg Popovich.
And she been there rocking with them for a while now.
Let Becky Hammond take over that team.
Becky, I think Tim Duncan around. I think Ginobili's over there.
Duncan said, "I'm out."
Oh, Duncan's gone. Duncan came on one season. Oh no, this team sucks.
Duncan did 1 year. Said, "I'm all set with this coach."
Duncan said, "Oh no, I came back for this. This team sucked. I'm good. Take me back to St. Croix, wherever he from."
Stop, bro. Stop.
He's from the Virgin Islands, bro. He's from the Caribbean.
Oh God.
But Ginobili over there now, though.
Doing what?
I think Ginobili has some position with the Spurs. I don't know what. Special advisor, something. I don't know.
Makes sense. An advisory role.
And maybe
what are the Kings doing?
Same thing Kings do every year.
Nothing.
I mean, they have young talent.
They got some talent. I like the Kings are a team. When I'm just trying to watch some, league pass or just watch some basketball, Kings are a team I want to look at.
I think it's talent, but I just think their culture is just all off. They got to sell the team something.
What's that dude, Mitchell, that they drafted? Davion Mitchell? I like him.
I saw him in preseason, not summer league. He looked solid in summer league.
Locking up Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
I like him. Halliburton and Fox. I like that.
Fox. Their whole situation with Marvin Bagley screwed up right now. I just saw something that they said that Marvin Bagley not even in the opening night rotation. He's not even in the opening night rotation.
Bring him over here.
Yeah, I don't know what the beef is with Bagley and them. They got good talent. Them three guards you just named. I think they got Rashard Holmes.
I like Rashard Holmes a lot.
Harrison Barnes. I mean, he's not old, but he's not young either. But he's still serviceable.
Harrison Barnes. We think Harrison Barnes is like in his 40s or something. That dude is young.
I've always been a Harrison Barnes fan.
Solid player.
I wanted the Celtics to go after that dude bad.
Harrison Barnes not even 30 yet.
Nah, he's late 20s.
Yeah, he's just a veteran, good, solid player.
Yeah, I've been a Harrison Barnes since North Carolina. But
didn't Tristan go over there now?
Yeah, I think they got Tristan as well. let's get to the main entree, though. The team that we know we want to talk about. The team that we good to talk about. And that's the Boston Celtics outlook for this upcoming season. And I've said this before on a previous show. I'll say it again on this show as well. Will the Celtics be a championship contender this year? I don't necessarily think so.
Hell no.
But it seems like they have a sense of direction on how they're trying to move forward. And obviously, you lost, Danny Ainge stepped aside. Brad Stevens took over. You had a new coach. But I think with them guys coming into leadership role, the first thing they made clear cut that was kind of becoming clear within the last season or two, but they made clear for sure this season, which needed to be done, making a clear statement that this team belongs to Tatum and Brown. And like I said, that was kind of the situation the last two seasons, but they made it clear from the jump in exactly Coach Udoku's words, that these two dudes are the pillars of the organization. And Brad Stevens came along himself and said, we're going to do whatever we can to put the right players around these two young stars. And I think that clear-cut statement is the start of how this team is going to push forward. What can they do to put the right pieces around these two young guys who are clearly stars in this league? No more of this, let's just draft a million young players. No more of this giving a lot of young guys opportunities to play and they suck. This year, obviously, they did what they can with their money and try to bring some veteran pieces and some kind of talent around them two guys. But it seems like that's what they're going to be trying to do moving forward. And I think this current season, while, they're not a championship contender, it's the right foot forward on how they want to make things happen with these two young guys that they have locked up for the future.
Yeah. Obviously, Tatum and Brown are the 1 and the 2. Something Mike and I have predicted on this show years before things were going to surface. But with Coach Udoka's system, I'm really interested to see what he does with this defense. Preseason, seeing his switch everything type defense, it didn't look good. It didn't look good at all. A lot of open threes were made from that, and there's a lot of mismatches. It just didn't work. I see what he's trying to do. It didn't work, but that's preseason. Let's see. I'll give him some time to let that happen. I hope he's a coach who makes adjustments, though, because I didn't see much change really with how this team looked. He emphasized on moving the ball. Once again, preseason, didn't see much of a change with how the Celtics moved the ball. Marcus Smart's a point guard. Played like Marcus Smart, right? How I expected him to play. He's a decent facilitator that doesn't get that much of credit, but he's gonna make some knucklehead moves. I love, speaking of Marcus Smart, and get your opinion on it. I love that they suspended his ass. I loved it. Suspend him. I just like to see that this Celtics team got some freaking balls this year. If you're not gonna align by things, you can't be here for the moment. He missed a flight preseason game. Just suspend him and let's move on to it. I hope it doesn't alter their relationship, because that'll be pretty funky to start off the year. But I just like to see that Udaka's not going to be playing around, and he means business. If you've been watching this show, you know how I feel about Brad Stevens. Soft as tissue paper. So I'm glad to see that we have a coach here that's seems at the moment it's gonna be a lot tougher on these guys, and he's not afraid to call out his players in the media, which could be good and bad at the same time. Like, remember Rob Williams was 0 for 7, and he was like, "Yeah, Rob knows he could be better than that, and he shouldn't have been taking some of those shots." Brad Stevens would have never said that. You know, he just said, you know,
Oh, we like that. Yeah, we want Rob taking those shots.
We want Rob to, you know, develop that shot, and those are good shots. You know, Brad, those are really good shots. They just didn't fall. The ball of averages. He'll say some wild. Brad will never call out any of his plays in the media. And I've already heard Udoka already, you know, say some things about his teammates. So it's an adjustment that the Celtics are going to have to make with him there.
Yeah, and I mean, going off of that Smart thing, which is great to see. Another interesting thing about that is the reason why they suspended Smart is based off a rule that Smart put in place himself. And Udoka was just following, you know, what the team, I guess, voted on, Smart brought up, and they suspended his ass. So, I mean, it's great to see that players are being held accountable. I don't know if this is a rule that Smart put in place because it wasn't a rule that the players were necessarily following before. I don't know. We don't know the complete backstory, but it's good to see that happened. I see Jay in the chat saying, with no Kyrie in Brooklyn, do we think Celtics can be number 2 behind Milwaukee?
No.
Tatum, Brown, Durant, Harden. At this point in time, I still got to say a team with Durant and Harden has a better opportunity than Tatum and Brown. And that's no knock on Tatum and Brown. I think they're stars who will continue to develop. But I got to take a team with Kevin Durant and James Harden right now. And Brooklyn doesn't necessarily have a bad roster. I mean, obviously, you add Kyrie to the situation, and they're that much better. I think we said this on the last show that we did. Without Kyrie, they're still have the potential of coming out of the East, possibly.
Oh, yeah.
With Kyrie, you know, obviously it knocks him up to a finals contender automatically. I still possibly see Brooklyn being right there behind Milwaukee as long as they stay fully healthy. If it goes down to it's just Durant or just Harden, now you're talking about a situation where, okay, if the Celtics can stay healthy and Brooklyn happens to lose one of those guys, then maybe Celtics can make a push to possibly number 2 seed. But if we're just thinking of the mindset of fully healthy teams, I have Brooklyn over Celtics.
Yeah, I'm going to break it down into tiers. So the contenders in the East are 2 teams, Milwaukee and the Nets. I would love to see the Celtics be in that second tier with Miami Heat and the Sixers. That's where they should be. That's where I would like to see them, in that tier right there.
You don't think they're in that tier right now?
I need to see it. Right now they're below. They're in that third tier with the Atlanta Hawks and such. That's where they were. That's what they showed us. Team didn't improve that much for me to say, oh my God, now they're. But I would like to see the Celtics be in that tier with the Miami Heat, who I think got better, and what would I say, in the 76ers. That's where they should be.
But right now they're down there with Atlanta and possibly New York.
Yeah. Now they're with the Hawks, the Knicks, that type of team.
And, you know, the way even with all the acquisitions that the Celtics made this season, because I agree with you, even with all the acquisitions the Celtics made this offseason, different changes and whatnot, the one thing that's going to determine if they're able to get into that second tier is what you get out of Tatum and Brown.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
They got to take another step.
They have to take another step. Unfortunately, this season, did the Celtics add like a third star to the team? No, not really. They got rid of they brought in Horford, they added Schroeder, they added Richardson. They cut and then brought back my boy Jabari Parker.
They brought him back?
They brought back Jabari Parker. Yeah. There is a guy. But even with all those moves that they've made, they didn't necessarily do anything to say, okay, well, now they gave another huge punch to this team with somebody they added better pieces, better role players, but they didn't necessarily add another guy to say, oh, this guy's definitely going to take them over the hump. But the only way they can actually get over that hump and get into that next level, the next tier, is if Tatum and Brown take that next step to being, you know, obviously all-stars again, but I guess Tatum, because Tatum might have a little bit more upside. Now you're talking about a guy who's like an automatic lock for an all NBA team.
Yeah, should have been.
Brown, I would love to. Obviously, I want Brown to ascend just as much as Tatum. But man, if Brown could give us another consistent, like last year, he was like is Brown gonna make it? Is Brown gonna make All-Star team? He was kind of on the fence, and a little bit of that is because he got injured a part of the season, so he missed time and whatnot. I need Brown to come up this year like, yo, all right, Brown could be the starting shooting guard for the East or whatever team. Like, I want him to be in that conversation. I want Brown and Tatum to both be in that conversation where they're the starters.
Yeah,
I want them to both be in that conversation.
That's a good expectation. I feel like they should have those expectations for themselves. Just talking about the roster and the guy that you mentioned, I'm gonna say it here. I'm gonna put myself out there. I think Josh Richardson sucks.
You didn't show me anything in preseason.
Here's my hot take. Josh Richardson is gonna find himself out of the lineup, out of rotation.
In favor of like Neesmith or something?
I think Langford and Neesmith. Beat out Josh Richardson. And I don't even know if Josh Richardson lasts a year here. It's giving me Jeff Teague.
It's giving me weird.
It's giving me Teague signing right now. I don't think Josh Richardson's that good, to be honest with you. I just don't.
Yeah. Like signing him, it was like, oh man, well, he's a huge improvement from Naismith and Langford. Smith and Langford stepped up their game.
They stepped up.
Like I used to be on Langford bad. Langford showed out this preseason, and I give it to him. He showed out this preseason that okay, he actually might be able to be of value as long as he can stay healthy. He might be of some value to this team. So now Richardson probably came to this team. I can be a huge help to Tatum and Brown and Smart. Man, you gotta hope you could get some minutes from Langford and Naismith because you got Naismith who's a shooter looking like he ready to go, and Langford who's just a guy who was just I'm not saying he's no superstar two-way player, but he's looking like a solid two-way player that you could have off the bench.
Yeah.
Richardson better look out.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely needs to look out. So that's one thing I'm interested in seeing. Also interested to see this Horford Robert Williams lineup that they might throw out there at times to even start off games as well. And then Robert Williams' health. I'm starting to get concerned. I'm starting to because you essentially gave him a lot of money, and so you tied that up and thinking Rob Williams is your future. The man can't stay healthy.
Yeah, the thing with Robert Williams is the Celtics have a lot of faith in him for some reason.
A lot.
Gave him that contract.
With a guy that they just started playing last year.
Yeah, like before last year, Robert Williams is just who knows what he was off the bench.
Last year we were saying play Robert Williams more than 20 minutes. Like, can y'all start playing him?
Yeah. So Brad Stevens, they got confidence in this dude. And I mean, it's us over here hearing all these reports about his knee and whatnot. We're kind of like, is this guy, can he be relied upon? So they have confidence in him. And I mean, fully healthy, it's going to be Horford and Robert Williams out there. My thing is, who's after those two guys? Or if they lose Robert Williams because of some knee soreness or whatever, who else are you turning to? If Horford needs to miss time, he's already missing time to start the season, it looks like, because of COVID. Who else are they turning to? Is Cantor going to get minutes? Is Hernan Gomez the guy? What about Fernando that they got from Atlanta? Like, who else is going to be getting big minutes? I know Parker can play some four.
Why did you sign Cantor back?
Very confusing signing.
Very.
Because I know he didn't fit the Brad Stevens system.
Right. So
granted,
it's like
but he went over to Portland and he was somewhat solid for Portland.
Oh.
And I clearly we're assuming Brad Stevens and Udoka's system is going to be two different kinds, but it's just kind of like a log jam a little bit at that position. I don't know Cantor. I don't know why they brought him back.
And then it's like, okay, you brought him back, and I'm thinking the same thing as you. Like, okay, it didn't work in Brad Stevens' position, but if you brought him back, Udoka must have seen something and said, no, I can use him the right way. Look,
Cantor's good. Well,
I know I'm basing everything off of preseason, but Cantor was getting fourth quarter minutes.
I don't know. Maybe if Cantor might be there for that. I don't know. But if Robert Williams does miss time, one would think Cantor should be the next man up at center, unless you're putting Horford at center. But if for some reason it seems like they like the thought of Horford at the 4, which is his natural position, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I just don't know how much you're gonna get out of Horford in a full season. Well, I'm not mad at the signing.
No, I'm not, because I wanted Horford back here last year.
We kept saying, Horford would have been perfect for 2 years ago, especially when the first run when they were in the bubble.
Oh, in the bubble, yeah.
The bubble was like, yo, Horford would have been amazing on this team. You know who would have been amazing on this team? Freaking Kelly Olynyk. Would have been
big.
Would have
needed a stretch big.
Would have been great. That's one of the most reliable stretch bigs you can find.
Yeah, and he's definitely come a long way from his years as a Celtic. Much more confident player now. Hell, if they signed him this offseason, I wouldn't have been mad either.
Oh no, that'd been a great signing.
But I'm not mad at Horford being back. Obviously, if he can give you anything similar to what he was doing for those 2-3 years you had him, the Celtics will be in solid shape with him. It's just how many minutes he's going to play. I mean, he's a little bit older. How much minutes he's going to play and whatnot. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. If you could have Horford fully healthy, he's a huge addition to this team. A big who can somewhat run the floor, handle the ball, shoot. He has a little bit of post game. Horford's a huge addition.
Yeah, Horford's going to be nice. I just want to. I guess once again, it's all about Udoka and see how he handles that situation. We got Jay asking us on our thoughts on Dennis. I always liked the Dennis signing, not even because of basketball. This everything else that he brings to this team. Once again, if you know about my stance on Brad Stevens, you know about my stance on the Celtics team as a whole, and they were soft. I'm not saying Dennis is a tough guy. I don't think he's that tough. But, tough in like physicality. But he's tough mentally. He's gonna stick up for his players. He's gonna get into players' faces, something that the Celtics refused to do. So I like that signing in itself right there. And then again, he's a solid player. He's a solid offensive player. He's smart. He knows what to do with the basketball. And there's a chance where this Marcus Smart project doesn't work out. There's a real good chance this Marcus Smart thing doesn't work out, and you're gonna have to make Dennis the starting point guard. Part of
the reason why I drafted Schroeder in one of my fantasy leagues, but at the same time, he's the sixth man for the Celtics.
Yeah,
like he's the first one. He should be the first one off the bench, because they make a sub. I know the coach talked about staggering Tatum and Brown a little bit. You're going to sub one of them, move Brown to the 3 or Tatum to the 3. Now you can have Schroeder, Smart, Tatum, Schroeder, Smart, Brown, however you want to do it. Schroeder's going to get minutes, and I think he'll be a good part of the team. But for just Schroeder independently, which is why it's great for the Celtics, that man got a lot to prove because he's playing for a contract.
Sure is.
He's playing for a big contract. If he gets that with the Celtics, I don't know. It's probably not likely. But he's trying to look to get paid somewhere. So Schroeder has a lot to show out for, and if he's showing out and playing as hard as he can and giving whatever he can, that only just bodes well for the Celtics. And then I see Jay asking, what do we think about Peyton Pritchard?
What does that mean for Pritchard?
Oh, what does that mean for Peyton Pritchard? From everything I've read, Udoka likes the fact of that Peyton Pritchard can stretch the floor a lot and is a big time shooter. Obviously, with point guard, how do you fit minutes in with him and Smart and Schroeder? Pritchard's gonna find a way to play. I don't know how they're gonna make it happen.
He's gonna find a way.
He's gonna find a way to get Pritchard on the floor, and that's gonna mean a lot of situations where you might see Smart or Schroeder at the 2, because Pritchard's a point guard, but the fact that he can shoot, he just needs to be in the spot up and shoot.
Yeah,
like Pritchard's gonna find a way into the lineup. I don't know how, but he's gonna find a way.
What it is Jay is right for asking that question, because Peyton Pritchard was the odd man out.
Yeah.
Out of all the young players, Neesmith, Romeo, Peyton Pritchard was the odd man out when you brought in Dennis Schroeder, and it didn't look like there was going to be minutes there. However, if there's one dude that showed he could shoot the damn ball, is Peyton Pritchard. And like you said, Mike, when you can do that, you're going to find your way on the court. It doesn't matter what. If they had to put a 3-guard lineup, they're going to put a 3-guard. I know Brad Stevens would. I don't know who's going to do it, but if they want to put 3 guards out there, they will, because Peyton Pritchard does stretch the floor, and he's been making them at a solid clip. Yeah. So he found a way this preseason to make a name for himself and say, yeah, I'm gonna deserve some minutes here.
Yeah, easily one of the best shooters on the team, so he has to play. I'm curious to know why they brought back my boy Jabari Parker. I'm very curious.
What was the report? What happened?
They just said
I didn't
before he cleared waivers, the team reached a new deal with him.
Oh, that's probably what it was then. That deal Brad Stevens gave him, Danny Ainge gave him last year was ridiculous, and they were like, yeah, cool.
Like for $2.3 million or something like that. So they probably brought it back or something less for sure.
It was like, yeah, you probably not gonna be playing like that. Let's reconstruct.
But the thing was, when they cut him, the whole report was they wanted to cut him to leave that roster spot open for flexibility.
That was
the report. And which, as much as I'm a big Jabari Parker fan, I also understood that, depending on who gets cut, or maybe if you hold off to waivers happen and whatnot, you can maybe look to get somebody. But no, they turned around and brought the man right back.
So who else did Bruno make the team as well?
I believe Bruno and Jabari made the team. They definitely needed Bruno to make the team. Bruno needed to make the team. But I think
it's interesting. Very interesting. What?
And we'll find out tomorrow. They'll have their pregame shoot around and interviews and whatnot. That question is definitely going to come up as to why they brought Jabari back. You, and like most people who I've talked to, felt Jabari Parker did enough to be on this team.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So, I'm just happy to see that one of my favorite players back in Celtics green. I'm a huge Jabari guy, so it's good to see.
We'll see what he does. I don't think he's going to play much, but to see him on the floor, we know one thing about the Celtics.
He could crack 4.
Injuries and COVID are never on our side.
That is also true. So there could be opportunity for Jabari to show out there.
Just never, ever have a lineup with Jabari and Cantor on the same floor.
Oh, hell no. You asking to give up points.
Oh my God.
The paint is barbecue chicken if that's the case. You could never have Jabari at the 4, Cantor at the 5. Only if it's a blowout.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see, man. I'm excited for the season. Again, I understand. Like, you could tell when your team got a championship vibe heading into the season. Obviously, that's not the case with this year's Boston Celtics, but obviously because you got a new coach, possibly a new system, a couple new players, I think that's where my excitement lies. And with all that excitement, again, I'm just hoping that Tatum and Brown just elevate to another level, and I'm gonna keep it there. And wherever they go this season, I'm gonna just ride with them.
Yeah.
Who knows if they make any in-season trades or moves? I know from all accounts, it seems like They said they're waiting to next offseason to really make a splash, possibly. So we'll have to see what happens there. I mean, so could I not be expecting any moves during the season? Who knows? It's the NBA. Anything can happen.
Celtics fans have been hearing next offseason their whole lives. Next offseason is when we're going to make a splash. Next offseason is when we're going to do this.
If Brad Stevens has showed us anything through his couple of things this offseason, I actually believe it now.
Yeah, Brad Stevens don't play.
Brad Stevens would have took that deal for Gordon Hayward and Miles Turner.
I hope so.
Brad Stevens would have took that deal. But
yeah, if Brad Stevens likes Gordon, he would have sent him home.
Yeah, he sure would have. But I know it's still early on in his career as the president of basketball operations, but so far I have put my faith in Brad Stevens in his direction for the Celtics.
Right. Yeah, man. I'm excited for the season as well. New regime. I hope that they can surprise some teams. I hope they got that underdog mentality back again. You know, one thing unfortunate about the Celtics identity, you take the identity of your best players. I love Jaylen Brown. I love Tatum. Those dudes aren't dogs. They're not dogs. When Isaiah Thomas and those underdog teams, Isaiah was a dog. And the team took that resemblance. We had the Jay Crowders and the Tatum and Brown. They're nice guys. They're nice guys. Everyone knows them. AAU, they're friendly. They score a lot of buckets. They're not dogs, though. And they showed their softness in the playoffs, both of them. I'm putting both because they're both leaders now, so they both got to get it. They showed their softness. I want them to really develop as leaders this year and, not take L's and act like it's nothing. Like, take these L's personally. Get better. Get your teammates better. They said all the right things. Now I'm trying to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I remember said this at the end of last season. It never sat right with me when the Celtics got eliminated and Tatum's Instagram post was just year 5 complete or whatever he posted. Year 4, year 5. He just posted a picture of him and just said year 5 complete. No, bro. You just got eliminated from the playoffs. It was last year. I don't remember. But the whole Celtics nation is pissed. And all you do is say, yeah, enough of that. Just happy to be here. Another year complete. I get it. But it got to get to a point. Every year Tatum's been in the league. He's been in the playoffs. Same thing with Brown. They've been to 3 Eastern Conference Finals together now, something like that. It got to get to a point. I don't care how old you are. You got to get to a point where if you can't get over the hump and at least make it to the finals or something, it got to really start to eat at you. And I know some of the greats, the LeBrons, the Jordans, they didn't win a championship today, about 28, 29 years old, whatever the case, man, whatever. People say that stuff all the time. In Brown and Tatum's case, the fact that they've been very close, we're talking about like a game within the finals, like game 7s, Eastern Conference Finals, and you can't get over the hump. It has to get to a point where, like, nah, just saying year 5, year 6 complete ain't it anymore. I need y'all to really get into the mentality and mindset, like, yo, we've been in the league this long, we get this close every year, and we can't, like, it got to really start to piss you off at a point. Hopefully this year, I mean, obviously it's the team, the roster's not the greatest, but hopefully within this year, next year, especially knowing that they're the 2 pillars of the organization, they really tap into a mindset of like, yo, we've been in here too long and we've gotten far too many times to not get over that hump, and it's really starting to piss us off. So let's really get after it and get it and tap into a different type of personality where we see them somewhat bringing out a little bit of a dog mentality, like you mentioned.
Yeah, we need that, man. That's what the Celtics were all about. That's the Celtics I grew up with. Whether good teams or bad teams, they were always tough. And I hate seeing the softness, man. I hate seeing dudes wipe their foot on the logo and you're just happy to be here.
Unbelievable.
But man, Mike, Episode 94 was a banger.
Oh yeah. Basketball talk, NBA talk. You know, we could go on and on. We could do another hour if we really wanted to.
Another hour light.
With no hesitation. But it is a work night.
Yes, sir.
We definitely got to handle business on our end. So it's Double M, man. 94 episodes. And we're not done yet.
94.
Take us home, Mark.
This is Double M Live, where the sports and urban culture collide. That's Mr. Mike Nice.
Yes, sir.
DJ Mees. This episode 94, NBA preview talk. We'll see you guys next week for 95.
95. The road to 100
continues.
Double M to the moon.